When you get to a place where we are, where every single pillar has been captured by the same sick demonic religion, Marxism, what you have is now a system. You see, ideally in a society, this is how it would work, and this is how it did work for the longest time in America. Ideally, the different pillars will keep each other in check, you see. So if the education pillar turns hostile to your society, America sucks. Well, if you're in a society that is set up right and operating good, the media will see that, jump on it, pounce on them, call them out for it. The media will act as a corrective agent for the education system. Understand? The other pillars too will get it. If it's the education system that's bad, the religion will step up. Not that, but our tax-exempt status will step up and say, no, this is evil, demonic, wrong. The different pillars will keep each other in check. But once they all get captured by the same way of thinking, the same sick religion, well, now there's nobody to keep them in check. Now the system, now it's become a system, now it is all powerful. It decides what is good, what is bad, the words you can use, the words you can't use. The system is the one that now determines culture, right, wrong, everything in our society. And it's a communist system. It's worked this way in every communist country, from the Soviet Union, Cambodia, you name it. Once one party, the sick Marxist party, controls everything, well, then everything has to serve them. And that brings us to Mark Cuban. In fact, not just him specifically, he's just an idiot, kind of. We'll explain in a moment. That brings us to billionaires. Let's pause for a moment before we get to billionaires and poor people, though. You know, communists have always attacked the middle class, always, forever. Small businesses, you know, we've lost a third of America's small businesses in just the last few years. That's on purpose. Why do they attack the middle class? Because the middle class have something the super wealthy and super poor do not. They have independence. They have enough money that they can be independent from the system. They don't need handouts. They don't need favors. But they don't have so much money that they need access to the system in order to maintain their standard of living. You see Bob's plumber shop doing real well. He's got a few extra trucks, 10 employees now. He makes a great living. He never has to go to the system for a favor. So the system has to crush Bob. But let's say his plumbing company really took off and he became a billionaire like Mark Cuban. Well, Mark Cuban's been getting all kinds of publicity recently for saying a bunch of dumb things. And they are dumb things, dumb, dishonest things on all over his social media. Does this all the time. Of course, it's always against Republicans, you see. And some of these things are, honestly, they're verifiable lies. Remember, if you're one of these people, you exist in and promote a world of make-believe at all times. Does your liberal Aunt Peggy believe that Donald Trump called Nazis very fine people in Charlottesville? Remember this. Remember, the most amazing thing about that is what Trump said about Charlottesville is on camera. It's not like we have to hear from a guy who heard from a guy who heard from a guy. We've all watched him say it. In case you're wondering about the very fine people thing, this is what Trump said in Charlottesville.
I do think there's blame. Yes, I think there's blame on both sides. You look at both sides. I think there's blame on both sides, and I have no doubt about it, and you don't have any doubt about it either. And you had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
It's on camera. It's on camera. And yet, that verifiable lie was just repeated recently by Mark Cuban. Shoot, the president of the United States of America has admitted many times that he ran for president based on that lie.
When did you get to 100%? When did you know this is something that I have to do for yourself?
Charlottesville, when those folks came out of the fields carrying torches with contorted faces and carrying Nazi flags. When the president was asked about it, he said, They asked what he thought. He said, I thought there were very fine people on both sides. No president, sitting president, has ever said anything like that.
The lie, a verifiable lie. So let's go back to Mark Cuban. Why would he repeat it? Because I see a lot of people saying, what is he, stupid? Mark Cuban must be an idiot. No, Mark Cuban is a billionaire. Every single society that's gone through a communist takeover, as ours is going through now, has had the billionaires, most of them, help the communists with their takeover. You would think it'd be the opposite, right? After all, these surely are robust capitalists. They'll fight against the commies. Well, no, you see, now that Bob's Plumbing is Bob's billionaire plumbing, Bob is in a whole different realm. He's no longer the small business trying to make it by, buying a new house, putting in a pool this year. Bob now lives a life of private jets, international business travel, capital. He needs money at all times, money flowing here, flowing there. I need another 100 million. We're starting this LLC to pair with this. Bob needs his kids to get into Harvard. Bob needs his second cousin's brother's mom to get an internship with Joe Biden at the White House. Once you're part of the system, access to high society, you have to maintain that. And the only way you get to maintain that, the only way you get to keep your system membership card is you say the things the system demands you say, even if they're outright lies. If the system comes to you and says, hey, Mr. Billionaire, that sky is green, isn't it? We need you to repeat that. Well, then you will repeat it because you need to maintain access to all the people running things. That's why so many billionaires, Bill Gates, Cuban, all the losers, always seem to say dumb things from time to time. They're not dumb. They're maintaining their system membership card. That's why they use the appropriate language too. Let's talk about language for a moment, actually. See, Simone Sanders is one of these dirty communists. She's been a filthy communist for a long time. She went on television and they were talking about illegals. Now, I want you to watch something and set aside your anger for a moment. Watch something and watch what she does here. It's brilliant.
What is the difference between an illegal immigrant who unfortunately engages in that activity?
And we don't like that. I want to be clear. We don't use the term illegal. So
yeah, we don't.
Undocumented individuals.
That's sweet. They're illegal aliens. Undocumented individuals.
What a weird thing to jump in on, right? Oh, we don't use that term. Right away, it was weird. She even interrupted him. Wasn't that rude? Why would she do that? Well, communists understand something very, very well, and the right does not. The right is a million years behind the left on this, and we need to catch up. Communists understand the power of words, of language. Language for you, for me. Look, I'm the same way. I struggle with this. When we speak, we just speak. Whatever's on your mind, speak honestly. Whatever words come to mind. Language, though, is powerful if it's used correctly. There are a million quotes about this. It's a weapon. Language, the words you use become thoughts to people, and thoughts people have become truth. You see, when the left speaks, because they're a demonic religion of destruction and domination, they understand that they're destroying things. And they understand they can never let Normie Norm catch on to that. And so when they speak, they try to carefully choose just the right words to make sure Norm stays fast asleep. Hey, watching the game, didn't see that. That's why the left uses all the words they use. Abortion, we're going to get to Roe versus Wade talk, becomes women's reproductive rights. Illegals who are violating the sovereignty of this country. Well, when you stop calling them illegals and you start calling them migrants, they sound like just people caught up in the circumstances, almost like an innocent flock of birds flying south for the winter. They're migrating, of course. Why are they doing this? Well, they're flooding the country with illegals to destroy the United States of America. They can't let Norm and Norm catch on. So instead, they use words like migrants, trying to keep Norm fast asleep while they destroy. Now, you go back to someone like Mark Cuban, He'll use the words migrant. Shoot, at this point in time, the right is so full of this loser mentality because we don't get what they're doing. Half the right uses the word migrant now. Migrants, we got a migrant crisis. Migrant that. Adopting their language. That's the power of language, you see. And it is so powerful that everyone works for the system. Everyone has to use the language the system demands. Joe Biden is the president of the United States of America. He's in charge, after all, isn't he? Remember when Joe Biden got a little flustered at the State of the Union and called someone an illegal? I think it was 24, 48 hours. He was sitting down on camera apologizing for it.
You used the word illegal when talking about the man who allegedly killed Laken Riley.
An undocumented person. And I shouldn't have used illegal. It's undocumented.
Notice the lecture he gets from one of the system's journalists. Hey, I'm looking at the transcripts here, Joe, and you used a word we're not supposed to use. You called an illegal. Would you like to address that now, Joe? We're giving you a chance right here. This is your chance on national television. You want to right that wrong? And of course, President Poopy Pants. Oh, no, I shouldn't have said that. Definitely undocumented. And this is not about illegal immigration or Joe Biden or Simone Sanders or anything. This is about the system, the system's control, and language is such a critical part of that control. So allow this to be a lesson to all of us, you, me, everybody, as we wrap this thing up here and move on to everything else. Never, ever, 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 ever use the language of the communist. He has selected his words intentionally. They're designed to deceive. They're designed to destroy. And if you're just trying to be nice, using the language he has chosen, then you are actually helping him destroy. All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right.